everybody, it's your girl, Coach Christal. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. If you are just joining us, this is a weekly encouragement vlog that blends some of my inspiration, some of my teachers, some of the people I admire into a catalyzed conversation about how you can grow and live a life you love. And tonight, no pun intended, we just have to have the founder of Catalyst Consult, Kamilah Martin. And wait, sometimes I get a little bit excited. I get ahead of myself. Let me welcome you into our community. If this is your first time coming to Wisdom Wednesday or listening to this platform, we have a mantra that we start each and every one of our engagements with. And it starts like this. It just says that a lot of things happen before this. And I guarantee a lot of things are going to happen after this. But I promise to be here with you now. Please be here with me now. Sometimes we don't give ourselves the ability or the permission to be present in the moment. We find ourselves in the rat race of getting it done, making sure everything's okay. And we sometimes forget that each moment is what's building the life we would love. So let's be present in the moment, shall we? Tonight, we're going to talk about filling your cup. And it has just as much to do with presence and pursuit as it does with any other mechanism of success and everything that we say we want. Tonight, we're going to talk about filling your cup, and we're going to talk to Kamilah Martin about a very distinct opportunity that is coming to not only the Steps and Stages platform, but to women across the country who are ready to not only rest, but restore, rejuvenate, and give themselves permission to be fully who they are in the moment and in their lives. Help me welcome Kamilah Martin.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Christal, you admire me?
Oh my God.
You admire?
Right. And we also have to work on sister to sisters taking good compliments. Of course.
I wouldn't
be here if I didn't. Of course. Come on. Listen, let's give them a little backstory before we dive into the full-on experience of the Fill Your Cup retreat in Costa Rica. Let's give people a little bit of backstory about how this all came to be.
Yes. So it's interesting. All of the ventures that I do as part of my company, Catalyst, selfishly are born out of things that I've needed. So whether or not that, is the right way to do it or not, that's the way I've been doing it. And it's been going really well. So in 2021, I was burnt down, beat down, burnt out, all of the above. I think a lot of us were experiencing a lot of the same feelings during that period of time collectively. And I remember I was on a group chat with a couple of my girlfriends, one of whom you know well, Kim Quick, and another friend of ours, Laritha. And I was just like, I just want to come together because I'm in Florida. I was like, I want to come together at one of like the luxury resorts here, sit in a lazy river, be taken care of, and like figure out our life plans, right? What do we want in this moment? We can't go, back to the same way things were before. We have to use this opportunity as a way to sort of, come out of our cocoons and sort of evolve into something new. And so we were chatting on that group chat. I talked to a couple of other friends about it, and then it just became a thing. I opened up a registration page, invited you to come be our coach at our inaugural retreat and at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando, Florida. And at that point, it was friends and friends of friends, right? And it was just sort of an idea that I had that had come to life. And it was a beautiful experience. I ran that first one completely on my own. I, negotiated the contracts and all that stuff, and I didn't really get to fill my cup. I left, a little depleted. Yeah. And I was like, if I'm doing this again, I'm hiring a team. So you introduced us to our meeting planner, Lauren Wellman, of 31102 Events, I think is the name of her company. And we knocked it out of the park with the second one last year in Montego Bay, Jamaica, an all-inclusive Black run resort that was just incredible. And I was like, this is what it needs to be. I got to rest and restore. The women got to be free and rest and restore. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do it again. And folks were like, you have to do this again. This is something like I've never experienced before. And so we decided that last night that we were going to do it again. And Lauren and I have been working together to pull together another incredible event coming up in October. So that was the impetus, that was the need. And it also came out of a feeling of me really needing to pour into Black women. I just felt like, a lot of us are out here doing all the things for everybody. Somebody's always calling our names. We're always making decisions. And I just wanted us to be able to release all of that just for a few days. And so, being able to build that space and invite people to that space has been such a blessing and a gift. And I'm just really grateful that I'm the one behind it.
Love it. So as Kamilah mentioned, y'all, this is a really unique experience because many of us go to professional development conferences, right? But we don't believe that there's any such thing as professional development without personal development. You are the person doing the work. So if you neglect the growth of your personhood, you actually are saying you actually are giving your value over to the title, right?
Mhm.
And that's an undoing that needs to happen. And sometimes that undoing has to come from doing nothing. So at this retreat, of course, there's some sessions you can do. We're going to be in a beautiful place in Costa Rica. There's going to be like this way that you're cared for that allows you to rest, right? And then there's also going to be your own way of making decisions about what you need. And Kamilah, let's talk a little bit about how you kind of came up with the framework of allowing people to decide what to do.
I mean, again, it came from what I felt I needed. I knew I went to these conferences and would be like exhausted after the second day. And I'm like, it's a beautiful experience. I identify as an introvert in the sense that if I'm around a lot of energy, I need a lot of space and time to recuperate. So literally by day 2 of every event that I go to, I'm just like, I need to sleep. So I knew that when I created something, I did not want to overplan, overbook. I did not want to have people feel like they were doing something against what their bodies felt like they needed in order to present themselves a certain way and pretend that they're there in the experience when their brain is somewhere else and wishing they were somebody somewhere else.
Right.
So I just wanted the space to be a space where you had permission to listen to yourself, because I don't think a lot of times we're given that permission, particularly the women who come to this sort of thing, again, are kind of boss women, and so we don't, and parents and caregivers and that sort of thing. So we feel guilty a lot of times about kind of taking a break and thinking about ourselves instead of everyone else. And I just wanted to rip that away and tell people up front, like, you don't have to come to everything. And I say it all the time at the retreats. Like if you show up and your body says you just want to Netflix and chill for a day, like I'm not checking for you. Like you have the permission to decide that's what you want to do. Of course, we have things that we fill the experience with, but for the first time in people's lives, perhaps I wanted them to know that you can be your own agent of decision making for how you want to show up in this space, and what you feel you need in this space. And I mean, and so far, the first couple of years we've done it, people kind of show up at the welcome thing, people pop in and out of the other things, people show up at the closing thing, but they leave with what they needed. And I think I have never experienced anything like that. And I just said, if it's not out there, why don't I just make it? So, and it was what I needed. It was absolutely what I needed. And I know because of the feedback that it's what the women who attend need as well.
Yeah, I think it also gives people an opportunity to not come and try to prove that they're supposed to be there. Right.
And another interesting thing that we do is like people get really anxious because we don't tell people beforehand who's coming. They want to see bios of people. And this is one of our like secret sauces. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but we don't send in advance the bios of who's going to be there, because we're forcing you to be there and show up and be who you are, as opposed to showing up and already having preconceived notions about this person and that person, or, this person was the president of this, and like having you develop that internal imposter syndrome, like I don't belong here. I wanted none of that. I wanted to strip it all bare, and we are showing up fully as human beings, as individual spirits and souls. We make connections naturally and organically if it feels right. And so far it's felt right? Everyone has been just incredible, amazing energy. And then of course, by the end, we get to know like all of the professional stuff about you. But I didn't want that to be the leading factor, because I wanted us to be human before anything else.
No. And I think it's another part of what it really means to fill your cup beyond the retreat, right? Like not coming into a situation and relying on instinct, but actually giving yourself permission to listen to a deeper voice, which is your intuition. Right. So in that instinctual, like, I got to do this, I got to be the boss in the room, I got to look this way. You can come, you can do your hair, you can not do your hair. You can have flip-flops on every day. You can not go on the excursion. You can go on the excursion. You can show up to the session, not show up to the session. Like that real flexibility to listen intuitively to your body and to what you need is the gift. After you say yes to yourself, or after, I think we're going to open up 2 more slots tonight. I think we might be able to open up, right? But once we open up these slots, and there's only 2. I don't know. There's 10 people watching right now, but there's only 2, right? The thing is, your yes is what catalyzes the transformation. It's the permission, right? Like that yes is so powerful, but it has to come from you. And when we get there, that permission still reigns. You are the deciding factor in what you do.
And when you leave, it sticks with you.
It's
It switches something on inside of you to create that agency, to create that sense of power, really, that you can turn this person and this voice on in other situations outside of a beautiful location with Fill Your Cup retreat participants. And we saw that last year at the airport, where people were texting in our group chat about, somebody tried to get me to move my seat, and I had to tell them, like really standing up for yourself and speaking up for yourself and not feeling guilty, and just giving yourself permission to first of all understand and listen to what it is that you need and want, and then articulate that and voice that for yourself, because it's something that really is our innate I don't know, an entitled sort of thing as human beings in a lot of ways, and a lot of times, particularly as women, particularly, once you get, you're elevating in your career, particularly as women of color, like all of that stuff, seems to feed this trope that we're trying very, very hard to push against and to help people not think that we're that trope, right? That archetype. And I think this breaks down some of that barrier and begins to give you some sense of empowerment, to see that you can do that. And I'll give you a prime example. So last year, it was the second night dinner. I think we had all come together for something, and then there was this crazy storm and this amazing rainbow that happened right before dinner was supposed to start. So everybody was leaving back to their rooms to get ready for dinner. And I was like, I'm the founder CEO. Like, I'm thinking I'm supposed to be at everything. So I had that dialogue happening in my head. And I was just like, I walked back outside. I was like, it is a beautiful evening. I don't want to be sitting in no room right now. I'm not even that hungry right now. And so I got on a bike and rode a bike, and I sent the group, I was like, the dinner is here. Whoever wants to show up, show up. The spirit is moving me to go ride a bike today. And I rode a bike, ran into a couple of other ladies. We hit up the manager's reception and then did something else afterwards. And that freedom, that ability to choose what it is that you want to do without anybody being like, oh, she thinks she this or that, or she's the CEO of this company, is not even showing up. It's not that kind of space, because we're giving everybody permission to listen to what it is that they want and need in that moment. So I get really jazzed about it, because I've never experienced anything like this. I never experienced a space like this. And then, like I said, the switch internally, that once you're in that kind of space and you kind of see that you can do that, and you see it's okay, and like the world still spins and the sun still rises and sets, it does something to you to know that, not just in these sorts of scenarios, but you can make these sorts of decisions really with anything in your life. And I think that speaks a lot to your work with Steps and Stages, and identifying what your vision is and what your desire is for your life, and leaning into that space.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. We're really just reminding people that they have authorship, right? And a lot of times when you hit a certain level of power, success, whatever you want to call it, up and down the ladder, hiking the horizontal, whatever you want to call it, right? When we have a certain level of comfort and success, we sometimes forget that we don't have to keep the train on the tracks. We actually could start writing a new story, and this could be the beginning of your new story. So why Costa Rica?
Oh, that's a good question. So we were considering several places: Barbados, Guyana. We considered a lot of places. Costa Rica this year felt right for a few reasons. First of all, I mean, I just keep it real generally. Like the prices in Costa Rica allowed us to keep this, I mean, I want to say reasonable compared to what it would be with some of the other locations. I mean, that was looking like, once we got, everybody's fees involved and paying my people, and, we go all out in the luxury, like all meals, all beverages, everything's included. That was looking like $10,000-$12,000 event. And then I think I found this on Instagram actually, and I sent it to Lo. I was like, check this place out. And they sent back a really great proposal. They were really great to work with. She did a site visit a couple weeks ago, and it's just a really just warm group of people. And I also wanted something a little different from last year. Last year, it was a luxury experience. We were very kind of secluded within the resort. And I think some of the feedback we got last year was it'd be great to kind of experience like the people, right, and the environment that we're in. And this resort this year allows us to do a little bit of both of that. So, last year was luxurious and tropical. This year is luxurious and rainforesty. And, we have a greater chance of connecting with the people who are from Costa Rica. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Love it, love it, love it. Now I know you're also gonna kind of do like a little behind the scenes.
Oh, this is an exclusive. Yes.
Okay.
So
we're leaning in.
what's that?
We're leaning in. We're listening.
We're listening. So I was on WhatsApp the other day and I noticed that they had this like community feature. And I was thinking after Lo went and did the site visit last week or a couple weeks ago, we have all this footage. A lot of people have asked me what it's like to put together a retreat. And I was like, why don't I, we're about a month and some change out, like a month and a week out from this event. Like, why don't I give people kind of a glimpse of the behind the scenes of what it's like for a CEO to kind of pull this sort of thing together. What's it like to work with the team? You know, what kinds of meetings and conversations are we having? What am I packing? What should I, you know, and like things like that. I just wanted, you know, create a space basically for people to kind of peer in a little bit into what it's like for me to put something like this together. So I just thought it'd be fun. So we were talking before we went live, like I like to experiment with stuff and test it out and pilot. So I came across this randomly and I thought that might be a fun way to, you know, to pull the curtain back a little bit and maybe help out others who are interested in putting together something like this for various communities of their own.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great way to pay it forward. I think a lot of people, sometimes, you know, we say this in steps and stages all the time, getting stuck in the how is a way that we don't grow. So if someone's willing to coach you or show you who's already done what you're trying to do, go ahead and take the smart cut. It's not a shortcut. It doesn't lessen your ability to do it, your agency, your vision. It just speeds up the process so that you don't get stuck in the pitfalls of trying to figure it out.
And I mean, the other community that I created for consultants is similar. Like I wanted to build each other up and support each other, and me not be the only one out here knowing the secrets and knowing what it's like, and you know, thinking it's all kind of beautiful, kind of and easy because it ain't. But just helping people really understand what it's like to pull something like this off, and you know, maybe even sort of like I said, get input from people about various aspects that we can still you know, have decisions on. So I just thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be fun. I can get to know some folks. They can get to know me in another light. I like doing like recording little videos on my phone. So that's easy for me instead of having to write long emails. So it was sort of a win-win. I was like, this should be something that's fun for me to do. So I'm happy to expose, you know, this world to anybody else who's interested.
Love it. Love it. So talk a little bit more about the 2 spots we're going to open up tonight. This is it, y'all. Like, this is it. Like, we're going in October. Like, this is it.
I'm very excited. So when we did the site visit last week, we talked to the people at the hotel and we're able to have a couple more people join us for this experience this year. You can go to our website, catalystconsult.com/events. I'm shutting it down once those 2 spots are full, not reopening it again. And I think, and the other thing I'm really excited about is we were able to offer 2 scholarships this year. So I put out a call. Basically, there's a woman who was really influential kind of in our network and was really influential to me as a founder and a supportive partner. And she was like, I want to help other women get here who can't, you know, might not otherwise be able to get here. So she reached out to her community and folks just started pouring in donations and we got a few $1,000s. We're able to offer 2 scholarships, which I'm just so incredibly excited and happy about. The women were like over the moon to be able to attend when they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So, but anyway, yes, we'll have 2 more spots open. After that, we're shutting it down. It's still going to be a small, intimate gathering. And excuse me, I'm excited.
Yeah. If you are looking for the link, it's in the comments there in the chat. And I would just say, being from the beginning of this idea, right? Like what I've seen is that transforming your life and believing and increasing your sense of deserving requires being in a different space and getting a different reflection of yourself. I was at a gathering earlier today where one of my mentors talked about mirrors and windows. And a lot of times where we're looking at ourselves in the same mirror over and over again, we're going to get the same reflection. But if someone gives you a window into a new opportunity, it's your job to open that window. Because if we keep covering the back of the window and saying, no, 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 it's just going to turn into another reflection of us, right? Like, we have to then take the next step. So this is an opportunity, not just to get away, but to get in and like really allow yourself to be fully present with yourself. I'm so excited to be the coach on deck for Catalyst Consult and Fill Your Cup. It's going to be another amazing trip and we hope we see you there. I mean, I'm excited, y'all.
What are you excited about, Christal?
I've never been to Costa Rica.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fun. Oh, and we're also someone celebrating a birthday. So Lauren, I see you on here. I forgot to share that with you when we talked today, but we get to live it up, and celebrate another sister and her year around the sun. So it's going to be great. I'm so happy. I didn't know you hadn't been to Costa Rica. Oh, Monica's on here.
No, Costa Rica. Oh yes, Monica, we'll see you there. Oh yes, I love it. I love it. Halo. Right. So like it's really going to be, and I just also want to say much of travel apprehension comes from having to do the details and the logistics, right? And this is not that. This is a very particular experience where you are taken care of. The trip is planned for you. You're not worrying about, other people's dietary restrictions. You don't need to do anything but show up and receive. And for many of us in this particular stage of life or stage of success and authorship of who we're becoming, receiving becomes a hard thing. So you need to start practicing, and this is an amazing way to do that. Give yourself permission to receive in luxury and fill your cup, not just in Costa Rica, but you'll have some left over to pour out when you get home, I promise. Yeah. So Kamilah, she got 2 more slots. I'm just the coach on duty. I'm not the CEO. I can't open up no more slots. Don't email me talking about Christal, I couldn't get in. I'm just, I'm on the team. Okay. So we're going to sign off for tonight. Any last words, Kamilah, about filling your cup or anything you want to share with anybody?
I shared last year at the dinner on the last night that this was these ladies were helping me live out a dream that I didn't even know that I had. And so I feel very grateful that whoever, whatever has put it in me to create this. I feel very a kinship with all of the women who attend. I think people who say yes to this, there's something very special about them. And just being in community with each other and surrounded by that kind of like energy and vibration, like it's something out of this world. And so it's just my pleasure to be able to use whatever gifts I have, whatever interests I have at this point, whatever experiences that I've had in my life to be able to create this experience for other women who need it. And it's my pleasure and my honor. And I'm incredibly excited to do this once again with you, Christal.
October 11th through 15th, y'all, will be in Costa Rica, not only absorbing the luxury and the beauty of the place, but filling our cup in a way that we can come back and share it with you. We hope to see you there. Again, it's catalystconsult.com/retreats if you are interested in grabbing the last 2 slots that Kamilah has graciously opened up for you. And if you have any questions,
/events, not retreats, /events.
Okay. Whatever the link is in the chat.
That's it. Follow the chat.
Follow the link in the chat. And we will see you there. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.